What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Surfing the Stream, where every week we are on a quest to find out what is the greatest movie of all time. I am your host, Matt Primo, here today with my other co-host, Christian Valencia.
Hey, guys.
We just finished up recording our 2-game podcast episode. So if you like games and nerdy stuff, you can go check out that. Otherwise, you're here for Surfing the Stream. We're here to do movie reviews, which we do about 2 movie reviews a week. Currently, we are in the process of doing a Kung Fu in review series, and I am in the middle of a John Wick series. After that, Ninja Turtles in review. I'm going to be bringing on multiple guests for those episodes, so that'll be fun. If you want to consider supporting us, you can go to patreon.com/2game. That is the number 2. And yeah, we have a $5 tier, $10 tier, and a $20 tier. Consider supporting us there. And you're going to get a slew of content that the public does not get. So Patreon supporters get 2 movie reviews. Yes, the public gets 2 movie reviews as well. And a 2-game episode. They get it early with a pre-show segment, as well as a Fuck, Marry, Kill segment, as they say, exclusive. And then we're also doing new podcasts, an anime podcast that Christian is going to be doing himself, and my music podcast, which I just talk about albums and new music and all that. So that's a Patreon exclusive episodes podcast for that. So patreon.com/2game. Shout out to our Patreon supporters at the shout out tier: Carmen Edmonds, Eric Hernandez, and Sharon Petrie. We appreciate y'all supporting us each and every month. So, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I have never seen it. My first time watching it. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about this movie. I thought I had my top 10 kind of sorted, and then I saw this movie.
Wrong.
I'm like, well, shit.
Please don't be that. Oh, it's that good. God damn
Yeah.
it.
I had never backed down at a certain point on my list, and I was like, gotta drop this down some. Yeah. So yeah, this is our 3rd review of the Kung Fu in Review series. We've done Ip Man, Into the Dragon, and then now we're doing Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And then next week, to finish off the series, we are going to be doing The Karate Kid.
OG.
The OG.
Not the new one.
Everybody says that I look like Ralph Macchio. Isn't that his name? Macchio?
Sure.
Whatever the Karate Kid's name is. They say, my wife says, you look
not Mr.
like
Miyagi. I don't care.
No, it's not Mr. Miyagi. So yeah, let's jump into this review. If you're new here, we're going to start off with the plot. We're going to jump into some fun facts, and then we're going to discuss the movie in general and whether you should watch it, buy it, get it on sale, or skip it altogether. This movie, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, 2 warriors in pursuit of a stolen sword and a notorious fugitive are led to an impetuous, physically skilled teenage nobleman's daughter who is at a crossroads in her life. I don't feel like that accurately describes what this movie is at all. Nope. But that's the plot I was given, and I'm giving it to you.
That was not the movie.
That was not the movie. This movie was directed by Ang Lee, who has a couple of big hits on his name, but also has a couple of stinkers. Gemini Man, which was released not too long ago with Will Smith. I didn't really like it. Life of Pi, which I've heard is really good. I've never seen it. Brokeback Mountain.
You saw that one.
So we're just going to leave that one where it's at. And he also directed the Hulk movie with Eric Bana in it.
Eric Bana?
Eric Bana?
Yeah.
The one
I was just making fun of you.
From Troy?
I know.
Go fuck yourself. This movie was released on January 12th, 2001. It stars, and I'm going to get all these names wrong, just like I always do with this Kung Fu series. So bear with me. Otherwise, go fuck yourselves. Young Fat Chow. Michelle Yao? I don't know. and Ziwi Zhang. I don't know. Go fight yourself. It has a runtime of 2 hours. It had a budget of $17 million and it grossed worldwide $213.6 million. Wow.
It's a
Pretty good,
lot.
pretty good return on investment, I have to say. All right, fun fact time. Michelle Yao, I don't know, did not work for a year before filming began, so she could concentrate on training and learning Mandarin. Now that is
It's dedication.
that's dedication. All the actors perform their own stunts, and there's a stunt in the movie where they're fighting on like a bamboo tree or whatever. And I was like, that fake? It's not. It's not fake at all. They're actually fighting on bamboo. They're just being held up by wires, of course. And Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Tigger, is a quote from Chinese mythology. It refers to hiding your strength from others, which is advice that's followed quite frequently throughout this movie by the actors. Michelle Yao, whatever, tore her ACL during the shooting of an early fighting scene and had to be flown to the USA for surgery. She returned to the set at different times to film non-action scenes until her knee healed. In 2001, this film became the first foreign language film to earn over $100 million in the US.
Wow.
Right? It holds the record for most Oscar nominations at 10 for a foreign language film, and it also shares the record for Oscar wins at 4. This is the only martial arts film to date to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture. And I think that's with, I think we'll start with our general impressions of the movie with that note. And I wanted to end the fun fact section on that note because it's obvious this movie it just looks great. It looks gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And yeah, it's completely different from the movies that I've seen up to this point. It's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and then it's like everything else.
Yeah, they made sure to have the lighting, the scenery, everything was just perfect. Everything was well placed, strategically placed at that when they filmed and when they didn't film. It seemed like.
So I've watched Hero and shit. What was the other Jet Li movie? Hero.
There's
Fearless.
so many.
Fearless. That's what it was. And I thought that's what I was getting myself into when I started watching this movie. I was like, I'm kind of just gonna get a little bit more of that. Nay. No, you're getting like those movies. Like, think of like one of the best looking movies ever and like an artistic movie. And that's like the version of Hero and Fearless that you get in this. I absolutely love this movie. I went into it with not low expectations, but I do kind of have my top 5 kind of sorted out for my kung fu movies. And I wasn't expecting it to crack my top 5. And I'm not going to make any spoilers because who knows
what did.
But we still have the Karate Kid to watch, and that I have not put that in my top 10 yet. So who knows where that goes. But I was not expecting this. Honestly, I don't even know if it was going to make my top 10. Going into this movie, I heard it was great. I heard it's one of the best martial art films of all time. But the way my top 10 has gone up to this point, I don't gravitate towards these sorts of movies with my top 10. I'm more towards the more modern kung fu martial art style movies, whereas this is, let's say, 2001. And like I said, it reminds me a lot of Hero and Fearless if they were made by a more artistic director, so to speak.
I can see that. Like the fighting was very well choreographed, and it wasn't too fast, but it was just enough where you could see what they were doing.
Yeah,
And it was perfect. because you were like, oh my god, like what the fuck did he just do?
That's some of the issues that I've had with some of the kung fu movies is the pacing of the fights. Like some of them, they're fighting and it seems like they're moving too fast, and I'm like, that doesn't look real. So it's kind of like taking me out of the fight. But then they're moving so slow, it's like this is kind of boring.
Like they would fight, like the fight when they first had the thief, that fight with her and the
Mm-hmm.
thief. Like she went out of her way to keep that thief on the ground. Like it was like you could see the feet drag the other foot down, or she would grab something. Like you would keep that combat going instead of going, oh, let's just keep running. You actually fought, and then they did that, and then you did it. It was very well choreographed. I thought all
Yeah,
of them,
I enjoyed all the fights.
except for the
I
wire
don't know.
work. That was just entertaining.
So I looked it up because I was just curious. I'm like, why are they so bent on wire work? And if you've watched any of these previous uh like Chinese kung fu movies, you see that wire work throughout all those movies, like Fearless and Hero, especially Hero. That's the one with the assassins, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Uh if you're watching that, it's more mystical as far as like you can see the wire work. And I've been curious. I'm like, why are they so bent on like not covering that up? Because you don't really see that in many action movies. If you, it's very occasionally that you see the wire work going on. So I looked it up, and apparently in like Chinese mythology, the act of running like that across like rooftops and like flying and floating and shit like that throughout this movie, it's all part of like the mythology in China, and the it's just more mystical and mythical, whatever you want to call it. And apparently that's the reason why they do that, is to give like a shout out to their
Gods.
to their culture, yeah, to the old times, like how they featured, how they thought that fighting was.
Right.
It's more like, I don't know if I'm explaining that well enough, but if you Google it, you'll see it. And that's why when they're running across the rooftops and there's nothing below them and they're still running, it's all part of
It was quite
Chinese
annoying.
heritage and mythology, apparently. Like it's like they're supposed to be like one with like Zen, or one with their chi.
They do some extraordinary things.
Yeah, basically.
Mm.
As far as the language of the film, yeah, it's in Mandarin. The entire film is. But there is an English version out there, a dubbed version, and apparently it's a good version.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
From what I read, the English dub they were very meticulous about having the words match up with the mouth, the syncing it up. So apparently it's a really good version, the dubbed is, but I didn't watch the dub.
Either.
I originally thought that there was not a dub as I was watching this, but it was after the fact. I was like, oh, there's a dub the whole time. Oh, but it's not on Netflix. This is not on Netflix. This is on Amazon Prime is where I watched it.
Oh,
did you watch it on your site?
I watched it on a site.
Yeah, can't. Yeah, don't devote any details to that. As far as the acting and the dialogue and whatnot, dude, this is probably one of the best acted kung fu movies that I've seen up to this point. And this is number 22, I think, that I've watched so far. So I've seen a lot. To me, they really nailed the emotions, and that's been one of the things that has been lacking in these kung fu movies up to this point for me. They will have one thing but not the other. Like a movie will have
all action,
and like, I mean, the story's real simple, but they won't have the character development, or they'll be spending a lot of time on the character development, and the movie's boring as hell.
Yep.
It just doesn't flow really well. The pacing's off. This movie, I mean, it's almost perfect. It really is. I think the pacing
started off with character building right in the beginning.
Yeah, I think the pacing is off maybe a tad. They do slow it down, and when it slows down, it slows down.
Yeah.
But when it gets going, it gets going. So I think the pacing, as far as that, is a little off. But they do a nice job in this movie of doing some character development, setting up a story, going to a fighting scene, and then giving you some more story and backstory and whatnot.
Yeah, I enjoyed the story. Like you said, there was a lot of just parts I'm like, especially when you had to read the dialogue on the bottom and all that, and you're like trying to focus on that and look down. Granted, I used to be an expert in sub, but now I watch dubbed again, I'm not an expert anymore.
I'm getting better at it.
And I was like trying to watch this because you're trying to watch the emotion on their faces and all that, and you can't really focus on both. But I mean, when you did get a chance, it was there. It was just some of it was slow, some of it was just perfect. Like, I mean, you couldn't even get any better at the acting. I mean, you had to technically because I mean, didn't have CGI back then. They didn't have any of that crap. So you either had to have a good story or you had to have like a fighting scene that was just epic. Well, they had both.
Yeah, just all normal effects, like real life, not computer generated. Who was your favorite character? I'm curious to hear your favorite character out of this.
It would be Master Lee.
Yeah.
The beginning, the dude, the master.
Michelle Yeoh, the one that plays the main girl, I think she was my favorite out of this. She was such a savage. She had like that caring personality when she was not fighting. Man, she was still caring, and like she didn't want to fight to begin with.
Then she whipped
like
your
with
ass.
the main thief, but she's all like, I mean, I'm still gonna whoop your ass without whooping your ass, and she whooped her ass.
She did. That she did.
And yeah, I think she did such a great job. She did some fantastic acting in this, and like Christian said, it's kind of hard to catch that acting when you're reading subtitles. That's kind of the biggest issue with watching some of these movies, is you do miss those little minor things as far as like their acting and whatnot, because you're having to read those subtitles. Let's see what else do I like about this movie? I think the score was pretty good.
Yes, it was perfect.
It was pretty good. I don't know if it's my favorite out of the ones that I've watched so far, but it's gonna be up there as far as one of the better scores for a kung fu movie. I think I gravitate more towards. I just love the little instruments that they use. I'm not gonna pretend like I know what the hell they're doing, because I'm not. I'll say something.
Instrument, that's all I know.
Yeah, that's all I know. It's a string instrument. I'll say something and someone will be like, "Ah, you're a fucking idiot. That's not what happened or what they used." I'm gonna go, "Yeah, go fuck yourself."
You can't tell your fan base to go fuck themselves there.
Oh, I mean, don't go fuck yourselves.
But
We
I'm
love
not
you.
wrong.
Stay here with the. Yeah, I'm not wrong.
I can't be wrong if I'm not saying anything. So how about that?
As far as the overall story, it's when I started watching this movie, I thought I knew where this movie was going, and then it got to this point where I was like, what is this movie about? Like, I had to Google it real quick when I was watching it. I'm like, what, like, where am I going with this movie? And is there more to this? Because it felt like it was really simple and you're expecting more to it, but it doesn't really expand on that a whole lot. But I don't think that's a negative. I think that's a compliment more so than anything, because if it goes into this outlandish story and this complex story, I think you'll lose some of the character moments and the fights and whatnot.
Yeah, the when I was watching it, I thought it was based on basically the sword. They were trying to get the sword back. They were trying to do this back.
Yes.
And then, like you said, it made that whole just. I was like, "Are we not getting the sword anymore? Or are y'all just gonna fuck? Or what are we doing here?"
I 100%. I was like, this movie's about the sword, getting the sword back. Okay, I can dig that. It's simple. Let's get the sword back.
Then it ended up being like a revenge plot of an old, assassin, and
then they throw a love story in there.
I was like,
That was probably my least favorite portion of the movie, though. Was probably the added love story in the desert and whatnot.
yeah.
I don't know. The movie really it is my least favorite part of the movie. It really dragged once it got to that. Once it got back to the other characters and put her, I don't remember her name, the nobleman's daughter. Once she's back in the fray with the other characters, the movie's fantastic and amazing. It's just that little portion of the movie that I don't really care for.
I agree with that. It was just it was unnecessary, but then again, I'm sure in their mind it was necessary because, I mean, like I said, you had to tell a story. But I mean, you could have left that 10 minutes out, and I'd have been happy.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, at 2 hours long, it may be a little too long. Shout out. But like I said, I don't think that's a detriment to the movie. It's not going to make me like it any less. It's not going to prevent me from ever watching it again. I think it's great. And if you're into some of these kung fu movies that we've been reviewing, if you're following along with us, then I think you're going to have a great time with this movie regardless.
What about that sword? That sword cut everything.
Right? When it popped out and it was all like boing,
I was like,
all
right.
Okay, it's a
lightsaber.
Right. I was like, that thing's flimsy. Shout out.
Oh, feel attacked.
Not pointing fingers. But yeah, dude, that thing cut through everything. It cut through that fight with the two girls at the end. Like, it cut through everything.
I know. I was like, okay, like, you just want to make it green or blue or red and just, yeah. Slice through everything. I'm like, it's like a 200-year-old fucking sword. Like, it only can go for so long. That's what she's at.
How sharp is that thing?
It didn't even look sharp either.
No, it didn't.
Took it out. I was like, what the fuck?
I don't know.
I think it was called the Green Destiny. I think
yeah, Green Destiny. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. It's a horrible name. It's a horrible name for a sword.
Right. Any other thoughts on this movie, sir?
Nope. It's beautiful. It's just some things could change, but then, I mean, it was made back when. So,
yeah, like I said, I went into this movie with not the biggest expectations, and I finished the movie. When did I finish the movie? Yesterday morning. We're recording this on the 16th. So yesterday morning, I watched this movie, and I went to sleep afterwards. And then when I woke up, I was just like thinking about this damn movie. And I was like, this shit hit me harder than I was expecting. And yeah, I think I'm not going to tell you where it makes it up on my top 10, but you could probably expect it to be somewhere in my top 10 when it's all said and done.
Number 10.
Number 10. So I give this 4.5 stars. I think it's almost a perfect kung fu movie. The only thing that holds it back is that 10-15 minutes where they go to the desert for the love story. That's like my only part that I don't like about this movie.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5 too. Like, I mean, I couldn't say anything different. Like, I mean, they could have probably done a little more better on the wire work, but like jumping 20 feet, flying 20 feet.
It looks silly, but I understand after doing that Google search of why
I can understand why they did it, but like I said, it's still silly.
It does. It looks super silly, especially when they're running and there's nothing underneath them. I'm like,
it also reminds me of Wonder Woman 84 when she was doing that. I was like,
oh, PTSD, sir, don't bring that up. Oh, sweet Jesus. As far as whether you should buy, rent, sell, or skip this, I think it is $15 on digital on Vudu. Look, everybody knows my opinions. I say this every single episode. Everybody knows my opinions on buying older movies for more than $10. I don't agree with it. I think back in the day, absolutely worth $15.
Oh yeah.
But this is now 2021, almost. Oh no, it actually is 20 years ago that it came out. So I'm still paying $15 for a 20-year-old movie. I don't agree with that. If you can get this movie for like $7-8, $10 at the most, but
If it's in
I
the
would get,
pile at Walmart, yeah.
yeah, $7-8 max for me.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely worth a watch. You can watch it on Amazon Prime right now. I don't know if it's going to be there at the end of the month or not, but it's there right now. So go check it out. And it is in Mandarin, like I said. So don't expect the English dub.
Yeah. Unless you can find the English dub.
Yeah. And then if you do, you need to send it to us so I can rewatch it in English.
Indeed. I agree with that.
Shit's fucking breaking down here. Starting to get scared.
I mean, the door's creepy. I'm sorry.
Speaking of which, if you're listening to the audio version of this, on your podcast streaming site, you can watch us talk about it on YouTube. So go to YouTube, search for 2 Game, that is the number 2 Game podcast, or search for Surfing the Stream, or search for this movie, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon review, Kung Fu and review. Those are all some of the taglines that I'm putting into the hashtags and whatnot. So search for that and you'll find us. There will also be a link somewhere in the description for you to click on, and go check us out while watch our beautiful faces while we talk about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So as far as what's on the horizon, Justice League Snyder Cut comes out in a couple of days. Going to be watching that over the weekend. You going to join me for that review, sir?
Duh. Is a bear shit in the woods?
It does.
Fair enough.
So yeah, we'll be watching that. I may throw up a Justice League Joss Whedon version of the review. But see, I don't know how I want to go with that, because I don't know if I want that to taint, shout out, my opinion of the new movie. I just don't know, or if I should watch it afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I just watched it recently, so I'm pretty familiar with it, and it's garbage. Garbage.
I think I'm gonna wait. I think I'm gonna wait. I have some other movies I have to review. John Wick 2 is coming up this week as well, and then I have to do a Patreon exclusive Kung Fu movie review for them as well. I think it's gonna be Kill Bill Volume 1.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
What?
Yeah. Oh. I was never into those types of movies when I was a kid. Like the Quentin Tarantino movies. I'm not a huge fan.
I enjoyed it. I did.
Well, I'm about to find out. It's on HBO Max. So yeah, Justice League Snyder Cut review should come out next week, as well as our final review for the Kung Fu and Review series, which means in 2 weeks.
Fight night.
Oh yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong. That's coming out. We'll be doing that review the first week of April, because it comes out the 30th, I think. So it's gonna be a busy month as far as reviews.
Knock, here comes Godzilla.
What? As far as our top 10 list for the Kung Fu episode, do not forget about that. That's going to come out in probably 2 weeks. And I am excited to talk about that list, because just excited. Nostalgia has a huge part in what my top 5 is. So I'm just going to leave that where it's at.
It's fair.
Well, we appreciate y'all joining us for this review of Kung Fu and Review, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe, whatever they say nowadays, whatever the kids say nowadays. Hit the like button, because that's going to help us.
Ring the bell.
That's going to help us get the name out there, and then ring the bell so you can get the notifications when we drop new content. Other than that, we appreciate y'all joining us, and we'll catch y'all next time on another episode.